Hello and welcome to County Board Wrap-Up. I'm your host, Kara O'Donnell, and we'll be talking today with Arlington County Board Chair Christian Dorsey, as well as our newest board member, Matt DeFerranti, about actions the board took at its February meeting and what those actions mean for you, your neighborhood, and our community. Christian, Matt, welcome to County Board Wrap-Up.
Hi, Kara.
Let's dive right in. The manager presented the budget for the fiscal year 2020. Where do we stand now?
Well, we're in a much better place, Kara, than we were last November when the manager started looking at preliminary projections for what the 2020 budget would be. And at that time, he was looking at potentially as high as a $35 million gap. And we didn't even know what we were going to get from Arlington Public Schools. So we were looking at a really realistic scenario where we would have to substantially cut county services, the things that we all care about that make Arlington function well. Fortunately, those doomsday scenarios have not materialized. We've had better than expected revenue growth, primarily due to the strength of the commercial sector, which we haven't been able to say in Arlington for a few years. And so the manager was able to put together a budget that adhered to the guidance that he got from the board last fall to provide for the services that we value and that we care about, with a possible raising of the tax rate to accommodate new school programs that are going to be coming online, as well as some of the issues that we have with metro funding and other strong county priorities.
And so where do we go from here? I know there will be some hearings about that proposed tax rate increase.
Indeed. So the manager introduced his budget to the world on February 21st, and then 48 hours later, we had to advertise a tax rate.
Right.
So the board decided that we would give ourselves maximum flexibility to truly have a budget process where we could hear from the community about their priorities and values, including the public schools, which have not yet released their budget. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to accommodate all particular needs, and so we set an upper bound of raising the tax rate 2.75 cents. And our hope, I think I can speak for the entire board, is to drive that as low as we possibly can through an earnest engagement with the community over the next couple of months.
And so through these work sessions, that kind of thing, do you expect to see some back and forth and that kind of thing through the process here?
Absolutely. I'm fully hoping for that sort of back and forth, and I think it's necessary. I think you mentioned Metro as a key variable that we didn't quite have, and I think the schools was a shared concern of the entire board as well. You want to make sure you can make the investments that are necessary, but also bring down that tax rate. So I think it's really important for folks to understand the process here, that you you advertise early and then you have the full discussion that is so important, so we can balance the community's needs and drive down that rate as much as possible.
What is it? You hear a lot from the community, and that Arlington is such an affluent community. We're hearing all this great news about new business coming in. Why are we still having these lean economic times for this budget?
Well, one, the big economic development story of Amazon has yet to materialize, even though it seems like we've been talking about it forever. But
a couple of months.
No Amazon employees have set up shop in Arlington as of yet. And because their build up and build out is gradual, we're really not expecting to see any of that impact on our budgets in terms of positive revenues until fiscal year 2022. But that said, part of the reason this gap narrowed significantly was due to unexpected strength in the commercial real estate market. So we're already seeing some positive economic revenue signs, which are good news for the community. And I recognize whenever you advertise a tax rate increase, which means more money from people, that's something that we don't do lightly. For some people, I'm sure they're able to accommodate this easily within their own household budgets. And for other people, it's going to be a strain. So that's why it's important for this budget process for us to really scrub what the manager has proposed with as much diligence as we can to make sure our basic programs and services are right, and then to make sure we're adequately funding the things that are necessary to provide good opportunities for everyone.
And how can Arlingtonians give their input on the budget process, some perhaps programs or services they feel strongly about?
All of our engagement channels are open, and we even have more engagement channels during budget season. So People can send an email to countyboard@arlingtonva.us. That's one way to just share your thoughts about proposals that you've heard. We do have these work sessions, which we'll be having, I think about 12 or so over the next 2 months, and those are ones that the public can't participate in, but they can learn more about different department priorities within the budget. And then we also have an April 2nd budget hearing where people can come and testify on budget items, and then an April 4th hearing on the tax rate where people can come and testify on that.
Specifically on that.
And I think there's, of course, the usual mechanisms. There's open door Mondays, and already this morning I had a call with a resident who had some concerns and wanted to talk about the budget. And I think all of us are open to those conversations, and in fact, look forward to them. That's part of why we have this period of conversation, so we can hear everybody's input and then balance and try and make the best decisions for the community as a whole.
All right. Well, I know we'll be discussing this in both March and April as we continue through the process.